So I know I keep on telling you about this stress response, these little tiny adrenal glands, and maybe you're wondering, what the heck am I talking about? And why we need to change our mindset, do some meditation, do some relaxation, yoga or stretching, or take a walk, or use some lavender, or take a bath and get some sleep. And all of that is to help with our stress response. And what the heck does this stress response and this cortisol do to us? So, cortisol is actually a super, super important hormone. It is actually really life-saving. And what's going on is that in higher amounts, and actually our cortisol response over a chronic period of time tends to be high, but actually you end up having a low cortisol level if those levels are sustained for too long. So that's years and years and years of chronic stress. But we're going to first talk about this prolonged chronic stress response that affects cortisol. But just know that cortisol is good and cortisol can be very bad, because we usually talk about, its detrimental effects. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today is why cortisol is good. And cortisol is released, like I said, under times of stress. Now, mind you, there are many different types of stress. We talk a lot about emotional stress, right? Grief and loss. And that emotional stress can be positive or negative stress. It could be that you just got a promotion, that you love your job and you're working a lot. It could be stressful because of children, or you could have financial problems. So there's all different kinds of emotional stressors. There's very, very, very big emotional stressors are from the loss of a loved one. Then we have dietary stressors, and then we have stress from pain and hidden inflammation. So let's talk about what happens in a quick response of this release of cortisol, right, from your adrenal glands. Say, for instance, you are just minding your own business and you're walking across the street, and a car is driving down the street at, say, even 30 miles an hour, and this car doesn't see you. You're walking across the street, the guy's not paying attention, he's on his phone, and he almost hits you. And your quick response to jump out of the way is fueled by this hormone cortisol. It causes the liver to release glucose, which is a blood sugar, into the bloodstream. And that really generates this burst of energy, and you hop out of the way, right? And after that, you're a little ticked off that the guy didn't see you because he was on his phone. But then that response levels out. The brain realizes, okay, that danger, Will Robinson, is over. And, you go about the rest of your day. But what happens, right? So that's good, right? Elevation, glucose, quick burst of energy saves your life. But what happens over long periods of chronic stress from those factors that we just talked about, right? Problems with your kids, problems with your spouse. Maybe you're a young teenager and you're studying for exams and you're trying to get into college, or you're trying to get a job, anything, right? You're trying to get pregnant, whatever. Those chronic stressors end up elevating your blood sugar for a long period of time. And over a long period of time, that's going to create insulin resistance and usually eventually prediabetes into a diabetic state. So that's our cortisol good gone bad. Tip number 1, top 10 list. That's our number 1. It is causing us to be more pre-diabetic, and that is not a good thing. So stay tuned tomorrow. We'll talk about number 2 on the list of cortisol, good gone bad. Okay, see you then.